To the flow.
Pete May Podcast.
What?
Pete May Podcast.
What?
Pete May Podcast.
What?
Pete May Podcast. PMP,
Yeah.
baby.
Hello, what is happening, everyone? And welcome to episode 2 of the PMP, the Pete May Podcast. Okay, it's episode 2. Today we've got our regular theme. Well, I say regular, it was the one episode before. We also included this. We've got the non-researched animal story of the week, which is great news. That's awesome. We also have sound effects, which I'm probably going to get overly happy with. So I'm just going to get some of them out the way now. Baby, Pete May Podcast. And we're also going to talk a little bit about football. A little bit of chocolatey goodness is on the agenda for today. And of course, we have Cantankerous Manford. We'll be giving him a call and seeing what his opinion on things are, which will be great. So let's kick off. Let's start. I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about myself, because last week I realised I told you my name and my age. And given that my name is in the podcast, I only really told you my age. So a few weeks ago, I made a decision which went in my brain. Got to change your life. So I decided to do that. Enough of the sound effects. I think I'm going to stop them already. I decided to change my life. I decided to quit my job, the job that I've been working at for 10 years, and a job that has... paid me okay money that's made me survive. Me and my girl have had some good times with the job. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do one. I'm out. And so I will be leaving in a few months. So I wanted to get back creative again. And so that's why I started this podcast. Okay, that's enough on that. Let's talk a little bit about what has been going on in the world of football this week. And by the time this podcast goes up, it's going to be outdated. So we'll see if my predictions are correct. But I think what's been most interesting this week about football is how Manchester United and Van Gaal seem to just be not quelling, that's a big word, quelling the rumours about Jose Mourinho taking over at the helm. I think it's been very difficult for Louis Van Gaal because... he's inherited a bad squad from from David Moyes, Chris Moyes, and he's also sold a lot of the big players, which I think was a poor decision. I think I said last week about Hernandez and Van Persie that have gone. I think that's probably cost them. And what seems to be happening at the moment is that they just get more and more injuries. I think there's 13 players on the injury list at the moment. Last night they played Shrewsbury Town in the FA Cup. They did win, thank God. But I think, even then they bought a striker on, Will Keane, a young striker. He was on for about 30 seconds, had a shot, it hit the post, tore his groin, off he goes. And I think that's typical of the Van Gaal luck at the moment. They've got some tough games coming up. They've got Midtjylland on Thursday night. They're already 2-1 down there, so they've got to win that. Then they've got Arsenal at the weekend, and I just think by that point it's very likely that Manchester United and Van Gaal will part company. What I did want to say is that I think Van Gaal has been extremely professional throughout. I think he's had a lot to deal with from the media. I don't think Manchester United as a club have helped that. They haven't really decided to come out in public and say they're not talking to Mourinho, which, I don't know, maybe that suggests they are. Jose Mourinho's clearly out of a job. He's clearly seems to be in England quite a lot, and I would imagine it's a job he wants. So I think it's a very difficult time for Van Gaal. But I also think the key to Van Gaal is that he will not change the tactics enough or give the players enough freedom for them to get consistency. They're good players, they're experienced players for the most part. When you've got people like Rooney, you've got people like Mata, even Chris Smalling, and I just feel like they're not getting the freedom to play. So maybe Van Gaal is to blame. The other side of it, of course, is that this season in the Premier League has just been madness anyway with, Jamie Vardy for Leicester goes on that run. He scores 11 games in a row. Leicester were top of the league for a long, long time. I think they're still right up there. I think they're currently top. And then Spurs are hotly behind them in second, so it is an unbelievable Premier League season, and I'm an advocate of it. I think that's fantastic. When a team like Leicester, I think they spent £1 million on Jamie Vardy, and when you compare that to the money that Man United, Man City have spent, and even Arsenal in some pockets have spent a lot of money on players, so I think it gives you hope that you don't have to spend the big money when you've got players like Vardy and Mahrez. I think it's just been fantastic, and it's a testament to Claudio Ranieri. What a great bit of management. Anyway, that's enough of football. I don't want to bore the female listeners. I'm not saying that only females don't like football. There's a lot of males that don't, and also there's a lot of females that do like football. So you can bitch about that amongst yourselves. So let's go on to the non-research story of the week. I don't know how that means non-research. I said I'd stop the sound effects. I actually quite like them. So this week, non-research, I'm going to continue on the animal theme. If you remember last week on the podcast, we talked about the elongated clitoris of the lesser spotted female hyena, nonetheless. One for your parents to play to them, give them some animal facts. And this week I'm going to talk about the mating ritual of a giraffe. Now, giraffes, let's start off with the clear fact that everyone's asking, it was certainly on my list, is the penis of a giraffe directly in correlation with the size of its neck? No, apparently it's not, but I haven't researched it, so I would just imagine it's not. But I think what's really important about the mating ritual of the giraffes is, well, I'll tell you, so the females, they just wander about, shaking their ass a bit, eating some high-end branches, quite high up in the trees. Male, walks around, spots her, sees one he likes, and, just walks up to her, puts his old head down and smacks it on her bladder. And he continues to do this until she gets a bit fidgety and he believes she might need to wee. So when he realises she needs to wee, he puts his mouth under where she wees from, which for those who are less educated than I, which isn't very much, is near the vagina. He puts his mouth under the vagina of the giraffe and lets her urinate on his face, lapping it up like a baby would breast milk, to taste whether she's in season or not. Which is quite impressive, I think. I think the other thing that's important to notice is that if the woman is feeling promiscuous, or even that she quite likes the look of this giraffe, he's got a nice brown spot on the middle of his head or something that sets him apart, she will urinate more than she would normally, which I think is pretty impressive. So anyway, the man whacks his head on the bladder. She then pisses into his mouth. If he likes how it tastes, then they will mate. Which I think is absolutely incredible. And I think if we knew aliens existed, I don't know if they do, again, nothing I've researched about that, if they came down and they were like, right, so how do these guys reproduce? Let's check that out. Oh, there's a really long-necked animal over there. I'll just quickly check that. I'm, presuming the aliens come down to Africa. If that happens, then, they're going to use them and think, well, that is a weird technique. And that's what happens. And then eventually the woman gets involved and, wheezes all over his face. And that obviously gets him in the mood. Don't know if it would me. A few of my friends, it probably would. And then they get it on. So what I wanted to do, as I did last week, is let's compare that to humans, shall we? So let's think. So you're in a nightclub. If you're from where I'm from, you're probably in Oceana in Brighton. And you're boogieing away. You see a girl you like. Normally you just go up, can I get you a drink or something like that. You've got a ladder in your tights. Is that a stairway to heaven? You go up to her, you bow your head, which is fair enough. Headbutt her in the bladder. She doesn't react the way a human would and enjoys it. So you whack her a couple of more times and she says, I need a wee. And you go, it's all right. I'll just open your legs. I'll lie on my back. So you lie on your back. She straddles over your head and pulls the kecks down. You open your mouth as wide as it'll go, like the Listerine guy, and take up a load of the wee. If she tastes like she's in season, like she's fertile, then you get a cab and off you go. I think that's pretty random. I'm not going to lie. It's entirely random, but that's how it goes. Anyway, that's another story of the week for animal mating. If you fancy giving that a try, see how that works on the human woman. Baby. Okay, it's now time for Cantankerous Man. Let's give him a ring and we'll give him the story of the week and see how he feels about that. Hopefully he'll answer this week. We did have a few problems last week. Let's see how that goes. He's playing it cool. He knows I'm ringing. He's just acting not eager.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hello?
How you doing, Cantankerous Man?
Hey?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, mate. Hello? Oh, I'm not sure about this. I'll just ring him back. One sec. Wouldn't be the podcast without a technical hitch. I'll just give him another buzz. Let's see how he goes. This is how my head's thinking.
Hello, mate. All right?
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You can hear me now, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just trying to find my lighter.
So you're going for a quick ciggy, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to have a quick fag.
All right. What are you up to?
Yeah, taking a break from my tea.
Oh, you got a
My
cup of
dad.
chow.
Just
Yeah.
having some tea and a few biscuits, a few hobnobs.
Oh, a few hobnobs. Chocolate on the bottom or just a
Yeah.
plain hobnob?
Oh, no, chocolate on them.
Oh, obviously. You wouldn't go without that.
Got all the... I don't want to fret.
It's not a good hobnob otherwise, is it? All right, mate. Well, anyway, I just thought I'd give you a ring. I wanted your educated opinion on a story I read this week.
Right, you are?
All right. So, do you know a famous rapper called Kanye West?
I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of him then?
Bit of a clown, really, isn't he?
Bit of a clown.
Bit of a clown. Bit
Yeah.
of a clown.
Bit of a clown. I think what's more important, mate, is this
He's always
week.
coming out with some stupid shit, isn't he?
What, give me an
He really
example of
is.
that. What's the example of that?
Well,
Then?
his clothing range.
Yeah.
The most boring clothing range in the world.
Well, I've never seen any of it.
Well, pointless. Don't look at it.
All right.
There's no need.
No
If
need
you
for
like
it.
plain sort of grey t-shirts,
A plain
go
grey
to Zara,
T-shirt. You can go to
but
H&M for that.
you know. Well, yeah, exactly. But if you want to pay, 10 times the value, then go to Kanye West.
Does it say Kanye West on it?
Not that I know of.
No.
It's probably called Yeezy or some shit, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, God knows what that means. Yeezy.
Yeezy? Yeah, I don't know. Wheezy?
Yeah.
I know what Wheezy means.
Don't know. Apparently the guy's a wordsmith, but I'm not seeing it.
No.
I'm feeling it.
And you know wordsmiths better than anyone I know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
King of the vocab.
Yeah, you are. You're full of vocab. We should
Yeah.
call you Vocabulous Man. But anyway, so
Vocabulous Man, yeah.
what I wanted to talk to you about, what I really wanted your opinion on, is apparently this week he's come out, right? He's obviously famous. I mean, you knew him, and he has said he's £53 million in debt or dollars in debt. What do you think about that?
How do you get £53 million in debt?
I don't know.
You earn that much money. I mean, he's done a number of songs. I can name a few of them.
Go on then.
Through the Wire.
Right.
Through the Wire.
He sampled someone else in that anyway.
Family Business.
Yeah.
But he must have made some money. How do you get 53 million in debt? His wife's pretty loaded, no?
Yeah. What do you reckon they've been spending it on?
She's not short of a few bob.
No. No.
Probably shit clothing ranges, mate. Shit clothing ranges. That's where the money's going.
What's going on his
Start
clothes?
investing wisely. Don't create some shit clothing range called Yeezy. Invest the money. Invest it wisely. Put it into, something secure. Something long term, low risk.
Yeah. Like what? What would you do with that then?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. If I had that money, I could give you an answer, but I don't, unfortunately.
You
If I
don't?
did, I don't think I'd be £53 million in debt.
No.
And in fairness, I'd probably be found dead somewhere, face down in the pool of my own sick, surrounded by bottles of champagne and hookers. But that's just me.
Yeah.
But he's obviously, he's found this wife of his. He's started a family and started calling them daft names and got himself in debt. So be it.
I mean, how do you get yourself in 50 million? Who are you going to lend anyone 53 million?
I don't think. Well, it's not about lending him 53 million, is it?
Oh,
But apparently, have you heard it? Apparently, people have offered to support him. Like people have actually offered to invest in his debt. I don't know what they're planning on getting back. Perhaps some sort of cut of his future record sales, or perhaps his ever so successful clothing range.
Yeah.
But I mean, it staggers me. It really does, because who is interested in this man anymore and what he's got to say and what he's got to do? Just go away, can they?
Yeah.
Everyone's bored of you now.
Yeah.
Everyone is bored of you and your wife and her selfies. Go away. Go away. Take your wife, take your selfies and your kids with the silly names and your shit clothing names and bog off.
Bog off. Such an English phrase. I don't know if you'd understand that.
Well, he's a wordsmith, isn't he? A friend of mine compared him to a poet.
Oh.
A poet. Someone like... they compared him to being among one of the great wordsmiths of the human race. They said he was akin to William Shakespeare.
Akin to William Shakespeare?
Yes.
I mean, alarm bells would be going off in my head at that point. If he was akin to Shakespeare.
But I mean, what really gets me about this man? What really gets me about this man? People. He's obviously a very famous man. People write about him.
Yeah.
And he came out recently and said that people shouldn't comment. Publications like the Rolling Stone or whatever it's called shouldn't comment on black music anymore.
Wow.
Because, and I believe his words were, because they can't comprehend what it was like to have a relative as a slave.
Oh.
I mean, can he really relate to that? I mean,
It just depends whether he's got a relative as a slave, really, doesn't it?
I just don't get it. I don't get the man. I don't know what he's all about. I mean, I don't know what...
Well, we've ended that there. Sorry about that. But he was going on a bit, and we've decided I'm going to put a time limit on this. So that's what we're going to do. Whenever he gets into the middle of a rant, we're gonna press some sound effect, and we're going to hang up on him. But anyway, that was Cantankerous Man. I'm sure he'll be back next week. I'm sure he'll have an opinion on another story that I've got next week. But I wanted to move on to the chocolatey surprise, which I mentioned earlier. The chocolatey surprise. Added an air of mystery to chocolate. I thought I was going to get something else. Today, Snickers have made an announcement. The Mars company have made an announcement that they've had to recall chocolate bars in 55 countries because they found plastic in them. I've never had a chocolate bar and had the unpleasant surprise of finding plastic in it. But if I did, I'd be wondering, well, what's the harm with a bit of plastic? I think a bit of plastic probably adds a bit of flavour to it. But they've obviously recalled them. I hope no one's been injured. I should probably look up. Let's just have a quick look at what would happen if you swallow plastic. What happens? I'm just Googling this. What happens if plastic is swallowed? Come straight up. I swallowed the first question is, I swallowed a bit of plastic. Will it go through my digestive system and be expelled naturally? Well, the answer is it should be excreted whole. Your body will be unable to break it down. However, in some cases, just in some, not to worry you, but it will get caught in the intestinal system, at which point you would need medical help. So yes, I can see why the Mars guys have probably thought, oh my God, we must recall some chocolate bars. And that's why. I mean, I wonder if it would cause irritable bowel or something like that, but... what I would say is, if you were thinking of buying a Snicker or a Mars bar, give it a couple of weeks, let that percolate through, let them recall the bars, let them send out some new ones, and go from there. I mean, the next question, which I'm going to ask, is what happens if a rabbit swallows plastic? So I'll give you a bit of context. The story says, I had a wooden carrot hanging on the side of my rabbit's cage, but it got in her way. So I sat it in the cage to be with her. Today I noticed a part of the carrot was missing. It wasn't a big part, but it wasn't small either. It looks like she may have chewed it. Well, the answer is, give your bunny a liquid vitamin E capsule. I mean, prick a hole and squeeze the vitamin E capsule into the bunny's mouth. And hopefully it will clear its way out. If it doesn't clear its way out, or the rabbit shows sign of illness, take it to the vet immediately. So there you go. There's a bit of veterinary advice. vet advice for you, which is good. So the lesson to be learned from this really is do not give your rabbit a Snickers bar, because if they swallow the plastic, we're in all sorts of trouble. All right, anyway, the final item this week before we wrap it up is the UFC. March the 5th, I mentioned last week, is Dos Anjos versus Conor McGregor. And really, this is a big fight. I think... I'm a big fan of Conor McGregor. I've been following him since his first outing in the UFC, and let's be fair, he's been pummeling everyone, and he's been shit-talking them over and over again, and he's predicted the round. I think once he said, I don't just knock them out, I predict the round, which is the best Irish accent I can do. The guy is a machine. And he's looking huge now. He's gone up a weight for this fight with Dos Anjos. But the thing is, this Dos Anjos guy is a beast. He's an absolute animal, and I just have to think that if McGregor doesn't knock him out quickly, this Dos Anjos guy is going to knock him down, and he's just going to elbow him in the face until McGregor gives up. I can't see it going any other way, and I don't want to diss Conor McGregor. I'm not. I want him to win. I followed McGregor. I like the fact that he's becoming similar to Muhammad Ali. I don't think you can compare him directly, but the amount of talk the guy's got and the confidence he has, I mean, he truly believes that he can win every fight, and that's incredible to watch. I think when you look at the Aldo fight, it finished in 13 seconds. Aldo had held the title for 10 years, and I just think McGregor knocks him out in 13 seconds. He's got to have been beaten before he enters the ring. That's the only way that you can explain it. And I don't know whether it's going to happen with Dos Anjos. He looks a bit mentally stronger. He's not rising to the games. I think I said last week his back is massive. He looks like a triangle. The guy's ground and pound. The guy is a proper jiu-jitsu fighter. You know, he's held a black belt since he was 10, and I just don't know how McGregor can handle that at all. So that will be really, really interesting to watch. I'll bring it up in the podcast after March the 5th. I mean, the only way I can see McGregor winning is by hitting Dos Anjos with the left hand that nobody seems to be able to stop. Mendes, Aldo, the Hawaiian guy, I forget his name, Max Holloway. He knocked all of these guys out with that left hand, and even Dennis Seaver, who's a big guy. So it will be an amazing night. The same night at Holm versus Tate, which I spoke about last week. The thought I want to leave you with this week. This is the thought that I want you to leave with you. I will add the email address and the Twitter handle for you guys to write in and talk to me about it. But sleep, right? I've got so many questions about sleep. So for every night, for my entire life, I've gone to bed for 8 hours, right? 8 hours, and I don't remember what happened during those 8 hours. Some might say that the 8 hours seems to go faster when you're sleeping. Sometimes I fall asleep 10, 11 at night, and I wake up at 7 in the morning. I don't even question it. I've got no questions about it. So I would like to know your guys' thought on sleep. Give me some scientific facts, because I haven't researched it at all. But I just think it's weird that we just take that for granted. And that just seems to be what happens. So give me your thoughts on that. But this is the podcast, the Pete May podcast, episode number 2. We are done.